Dickerson is the extraordinary rookie from SMU with the Rams, who is swift, who is powerful, and yet who is subtle too, as you see there. The all-field vision remarkable, the instincts to evade the tacklers equally remarkable. William Andrews of the Falcons is much more direct than Dickerson. Give him the football, give him the hole, he will barrel through. And then you will have to gang tackle him to bring him down as he piles up yards upon yards. And each of those great runners is helped by a great quarterback. Vince Ferragamo of the Rams, Bartkowski of the Falcons. Ferragamo, just give him protection. He'll throw as pretty a spiral as there is in the game, like that one to Mike Barber, the tight end of the Rams. But the leading quarterback in the National Football League is Steve Bartkowski. And Billy White Shoes Johnson has helped them win games in the clutch. Tonight, the Falcons against the Rams. We are live from Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. The Rams against the Falcons, some of the great individual stars of the game on display. And, of course, the standings in the NFC West. Niners lead Rams by a half game. Win for the Rams tonight, they're tied. Atlanta not out of it. Win tonight, win over the Niners next week, and they're back in the thick of things. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, and we think we've got an extravaganza ahead for you tonight. Now, quickly, word about the two coaches. Johnny Robinson, famed on the college level with USC, but not without pro experience. 75 with the Raiders, and already a hit coach. Dan Henning, Atlanta Falcons, taught by Gilman, trained by Shula, 3 years with the Jets, and then Joe Gibbs. He knows what it's all about. He's got a great future as a head coach. More on the Rams, the gift.
Thank you, Howard. It's kind of a football game I look forward to. First of all, I think both of these teams saw what the 49ers did to New Orleans yesterday. The 49ers really coming on strong. The Falcons could be totally out of it if they lose tonight, and the Rams know they have to stay close. They can move into a tie with a victory tonight. The Rams having to move a lot of people around in their secondary. We'll talk to you about that, but there is a veritable plethora of rookies involved in this football game tonight, and the Falcons are a little more veritable because they have a whole bunch of them, and who knows about rookies better than the dandy ones.
Veritables. I know a lot about veritables, too. A veritable plethora of rookies for Atlanta. They have 16 of those guys, and 6 of them are going to start tonight. So the veritable plethora of rookies could lead to the old proverbial fire drill. Who knows? They have a little trouble holding it all together. They've been able to score some points, haven't been able to stop anybody. So we'll see how it goes. Looks like a pretty good ball game. Let's hope so. And Frank's going to tell us about it. Let's go do it.
There's a prediction of 70% chance of rain tonight as we look at the Rams dropping to receive. They have won the toss. This is Henry Ellard, a very fine-looking rookie prospect out of Fresno State. Great athlete, was a tremendous track star up there. Johnny Robinson actually tried to recruit him for USC. He didn't get him, but he's got him now as head coach of the Rams. And set to kick off for the Atlanta Falcons, Mick Luckhurst. It's a cool night in Atlanta. The umbrellas are here, but right now there's just a slight mist that's falling. Atlanta 4-6. With a loss to New Orleans a week ago, the Rams are 6-4. We are underway. Ellard is deep, and he will stay in the end zone. And the Rams will have the football out of their own 20-yard line following the touchback. Vince Ferragamo coming on. Ferragamo a little over 61% on the air, 15 touchdowns. He throws it into a crowd. He just tries to get the completion. He has 17 interceptions. Last week, in a 21-14 victory over the Bears, he was 12 of 23. His first game when he did not have an interception. Of course, much travel. Took the Rams to the Super Bowl in '79. And he went up to Montreal in the Canadian Football League and came back a year ago. Had a good season a year ago, even though the Rams were 2-7. Los Angeles Rams, first possession of the ball game at their own 20-yard line. The great one is behind Ferragamo, number 29, Eric Dickerson. Dickerson, great power, big man, 220 pounds. He just surges for about 4 yards as we take a look at the defensive unit of the Atlanta Falcons. Interesting, these two teams have both swapped. Atlanta now uses a 4-3, whereas in the past they've used a 3-4. The Rams just the reverse. Rookie starter out of the strong side linebackers, John Rady out of Boise State. And a secondary that, quite frankly, could use a little help. The second down and 6, the ball at the 24-yard line. Eric Dickerson is in view of so many records. We'll tell you about them throughout the evening. He came in tonight 1,223 yards, averaging just under 5 yards a carry. That's Preston Denard in motion. Second down and 6. Dickerson, they use him always. Out of the flat. That's strength. And then the speed to the outside, stepping out of bounds, short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. They like to dump the ball off to Dickerson. He is a surprisingly good receiver, a heady player. He fumbled the ball earlier in the season several times, and he has handled the ball well over 200 times now without coughing it up.
That's when the public misconception grew that Dickerson did not have the good hands. In fact, he's got excellent hands, and 70% chance of rain. We've already had a veritable plethora of rain. 3rd and 1. Frank.
Dickerson again, the single setback. And Dickerson left side. And this time he is stopped short. And the Falcons get a roar from their partisan fans because they know that in the first game, even though the Rams won it, 27-21, Dickerson was held to 64 yards. The young Falcon defense doing a good job on him. Now coming on is John Misko. In his second year out of Oregon State, not having one of the better years, and dropping is Billy Johnson, who's having a tremendous year, leading the NFC with over 12 yards on a return. Had one early in the season, 71 yards for a touchdown against the Jets. He's very dangerous, back almost like he was when he was such a great return man for Houston in the middle 70s. Johnson from his own 22-yard line. And this time covered well as he is up close to the 30-yard line, hustling down there with Eric Williams. And Vince Ferragamo, one of the pure passers this game has ever known. Second in the NFL, Steve Bartkowski is. And unlike Dickerson, he only has 4 interceptions, but Dickerson has been sacked a very few times, and Bartkowski has been taken down 41 times. There's your offensive line. 3 Pro Bowlers in there. Jeff Note at center, Thielman and Ken on the left side. They like to run there, too. William Andrews into tonight's game, 955 yards rushing, chasing Eric Dickerson. Bartkowski. A beautiful shot, and it's complete out over the middle. Taken out there by Alfred Jenkins, who has not been having the typical Alfred Jenkins here, but he gets a first down on the very first possession out to the 48-yard line.
Well, Frank, you're exactly right. Story in the Atlanta Constitution. Headline, Jenkins is thinking shorter, and so he is. No more flamboyancy, no longer just the deep pass, but the intermediate range pass as you just saw.
The first down at the 48-yard line of the Falcons. The motion man, Al Matthews, the rookie from Vanderbilt. But this is Andrews, right side. Strong is the William Andrews. Does not possess the speed or the size, at least in stature, of Eric Dickerson. As we look at the 3-man front I spoke of a moment ago, the Rams switching to that just this year. Jack Youngblood showing surprising ability out on the left side.
Doesn't mean he likes it, but...
And a secondary that has been totally jostled around, mainly because of the loss of Ivory Sully and Leroy Irvin. They've had to move people around. And we're looking at a second down and 5. And Andrews, left side again. Andrews hit there first by Jim Collins, an outstanding linebacker who has really found a home in the inside of that Ram defense.
By now, Don, everybody who follows the NFL knows about the greatness of William Andrews. He is not spectacular. He is just great in every department. Rushing, catching, blocking. He is an all-purpose player and one of the very best there has been in the last 15 years at all the things he does.
It's really kind of funny. You've got a guy like Andrews, and we were talking to Coach Robinson today, asking about the 17 interceptions that Ferragamo had. And oftentimes you see a good running back, and that usually when those interceptions will come down. And Frank mentioned at the top of the show, Bartkowski has very few this year. And I think a guy like Andrews is he's a big reason, a big plus for that. He can control that ball for you, and you don't have to throw passes that are forceful passes. So they got a good balance for those two guys.
First down and 10, the ball in Ram territory, near the 42-yard line. Andrews, they'll work Andrews as the Rams will work Dickerson. And Andrews picking up yardage again, getting inside the 40, close to the 37-yard line. An interesting point about Andrews, you touched on it, Howard. He is strong. He is a bull-like runner. He's very heady about the game. But interesting, with all the yardage he's compiled, and he's compiled more yardage on pass receiving and rushing than any player over the past 5 years. Close to him is Walter Payton. But his longest run from scrimmage has been 33 yards. Dickerson broke one off this year already, 85. He's not your big playmaker, but he is steady. Andrews got 3. It'll be second down and 7, and they give it to him once again. He covers the football and just bulls his way up close to the 33-yard line, inside the 33, about a foot short of the first.
An absolutely perfect evidence. You've got to gang tackle that man to stop him, Don, again and again and again.
Well, they better get on it. That guy's going to score. I'm telling you.
That's another great trait of Andrews. He doesn't fumble the football.
Sure-handed.
The Falcons came out. Big strike from Steve Bartkowski to Alfred Jenkins. They're on a drive. And Andrews again. Right side. And Andrews, you heard the contact all the way up here. The contact made at the line of scrimmage, and Andrews inside the 30, or rather Gerald Riggs, and he is the man who will come in for Andrews. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for Andrews, this young man, second year out of Arizona State, could be a major star already in the NFL.
Tom Bratz wanted him from the beginning. Couldn't believe Riggs was available in last year's draft. A year ago, not the most recent one. And Riggs has Andrews-like potential.
He stays in there at 6'1" and 230 pounds. And this time, play action fake. Bartkowski fires the strike, and it's complete to Stacey Bailey. Short of the first down, up close to the 20-yard line.
Bailey from San Jose State, one of the major stories in the Falcons this year as we take another look.
Yeah, you see Youngblood come out 85 in his defensive end position. He didn't get there to really cause that much trouble, but Stacey's the guy they're really talking about down here. He's making the big plays.
Big plays, time and again, and that's why Jenkins now goes to the intermediate pass. Jackson hurt. Bailey took over and capitalized.
Bailey top of your screen. That's Jenkins at the bottom of the screen. Second down, a little more than a yard for the first, and Andrews almost closing into the end zone. Again, it's Riggs, and they will move him back and forth. Riggs inside the 15, first down Atlanta.
I think he stumbled, Frank, at that line of scrimmage, or if he had kept his feet, looked like he had some room to move out there, but he still barreled right ahead for that first down.
Don Howard and I saw Gerald Riggs as a rookie a year ago in a preseason game, and you knew right away this was a quality running back, former All-Coast Russian champion, where he averaged 6 yards a carry out there in the Pac-10 as a senior. First down, Riggs again. And just brute strength once again behind Jeff Van Note, Archie Fieldman, John Scully. Inside the 10-yard line, he'll get 5 yards as we look at Dan Henning, the young head coach of these Falcons.
Eddie LeBaron was in our booth before, and he said, you know, you'd really love this offense we've got down here. He said it kind of protects the quarterback.
Meanwhile, he didn't show up at the luncheon we went to be with him.
That's Eddie. We'll talk about it. Yeah, why did he do that, I wonder?
I don't know.
He left us out there. I said, protect him. No, in my life, Bartkowski's been sacked more than any quarterback in the league. I wouldn't like that offense.
10th play of the drive. Already, we've used almost 6 minutes of the first quarter. That's Al Matthews in motion. Bartkowski looking for Jenkins, switches off, fires into the middle, and Andrews gets a rebound. He'll have a first down at the 3-yard line.
Oh, and I love that.
I love what you said.
The intent was for Stacey. It went into the air, and Andrews was alertly there.
Amazing what your mind recalls, doesn't it?
The immaculate reception.
Had some time, tried to drill it in. Good defensive play. That was not an interference. That was Newsom. And
But
there's
look
Andrews.
who got it. William Andrews.
Very difficult play to design.
This is a real heavy one. Good players make good plays. You can use that if you want to.
Of course.
Yeah.
First down, goal to go. Andrews, a single setback. Matthews in motion. Wow, that's contact. Andrews to the 2-yard line. Desjardins, Collins, both in there defensively for the Rams.
Robinson is used to Los Angeles falling behind. It happened to him in the very first game against the Falcons when the Rams rallied in the fourth quarter to win it. But in the early going, it was all Falcons this way. And when you see the Falcons this way, Frank, and you know their personnel and how great they are individually, sometimes you wonder how they ever lose.
They are 4-6 and they're struggling. But they have shown flashes of greatness this season. Andrews, and this time the Rams defense beginning to toughen. Eric Harris is up there quickly, and Carl Eckern for the Rams.
Interesting thing about Harris, they got him in that trade with Kansas City, the Rams did. Remember what John Robinson said today at the production meeting to start the year? He was 30 yards deep, and Robinson was trying to get him to move up. And what was it John said about Eric?
He said, they never did throw any behind me, Coach.
There was a loss back to the 4-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. It'll put Bartkowski in a passing posture. Single setback. The 2 wide receivers up at the top. And Matthews in motion. Bartkowski is sacked and is dropped back at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, that's a real blow for the Falcons. They lose that. Yeah, you're down there with a 1st down and goal on the 4-yard line and wind up punting from the 13, 14.
And a good defensive call, a blitz on that situation. That meant man-to-man coverage in the end zone. They had to get to Bartkowski quickly, but we talked already about Bartkowski. Really, he is not that kind of a mobile quarterback that he can move around. He's had multiple knee problems, even though he has been a consistent starter since '79.
And so the British essays the field goal. BBC here.
Mick Luckhurst, a 31-yard attempt. Morosky, the backup quarterback, will put it down. And Luckhurst left foot to the uprights, and a drive that looked like it was going to end up in the end zone is forced to settle for 3. 9:19 remaining in the first quarter. Eller dropped once again for the Rams. Mick Luckhurst to kick off. Eller, they're expecting great things from this youngster. Hit over 56 feet in the triple jump a few years back for Fresno State.
Super athlete.
This time, Lockhart hangs it high, and Eller steps up to the 12-yard line. And Eller stumbles out over the 25 to the 27-yard line, and Vince Ferragamo gets final instructions from the sideline, a return of 15 yards, and the Rams will have their second possession of the game with 5:24 remaining in the first quarter. Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium sold out tonight, 60,000 plus. A lot of no-shows, a rainy day here in Atlanta, and a very cool night. 27-yard line, the Rams, their second possession. Eric Dickerson sets up about 7 yards deep. Ferragamo drops the ball, pulling away from the center, and this is a problem that the Rams are going to have perhaps all night. Joe Sharon is in there in place of Doug Smith, who fractured a finger in his right hand, and he is right-handed. He tried to snap all week with his left hand. I talked to him today, and he showed me his hand, and it is hard to believe that he could even consider playing. It was tremendously swollen, and right now it is Sharon in the lineup. And the quarterback, he just gets used to the same center. Dickerson now needs 11 yards to tie Lawrence McCutcheon, the Rams' all-time single-season rushing leader. Over the center to David Hill, and David Hill up close to a first down near the 37-yard line. David Hill, of course, had those 7 years with Detroit. Demanded really to be traded this year, and only to Los Angeles, and finally they worked it out, and the Rams sent a 3rd-round draft pick to get what is an exceptional tight end.
John Robinson knows that it's going to take time for David Hill to work into the Rams scheme of things. Thus, the kind of pass you just saw is what you will see Hill receiving. He will not be the deep threat under the Robinson system in the early going, which is this year, that he was with Detroit. But next year, watch out.
I even think that type of pattern right there that you just saw is really one of the better tight patterns that you can have.
There's Lawrence McCutcheon. We talked of, had some great years with the Rams. 3 over 1,000, and of course his record, single-season rushing mark, is on the line tonight for Eric Dickerson, and he just came into town to watch this great back. Quite frankly, the reason a lot of people are here. Number 29 out of SMU, a rookie tearing up the NFL in the rushing department. Ferragamo. He gets the necessary couple of inches for the first down. Ferragamo, of course, had that great season in 1980 with 30 touchdown passes. Lost to Dallas in the playoffs that year, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, in 81 went up to Montreal. That didn't work out at all there. Came back last year.
Rams have dominated the Falcons through the years, except here. Atlanta's done quite well against them here.
I think both teams know they're in a dogfight tonight. David Hill in motion on first down. Ferragamo, the Mad Bomber, and deep is Preston Denard. All right, Preston. No flags, and Denard gets into the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
61-yard touchdown. Denard really is not the deep receiver you expect to go deep for the Rams.
No,
He doesn't have great speed, and they were playing him very tight.
interestingly, that's been their problem. They don't have deep speed from the deep receivers.
Kenny Johnson played him very tight.
He just didn't expect him to go deep, did he, Frank?
He did not. He was playing for an out move, and Denard turned it up. I don't know whether he had an option on it or not. I don't think so, because he never even looked back.
Rams' longest pass play of the year. But Denard is a good receiver. You remember when he used that tip play to himself a week ago.
Sort of a Drew Pearson type receiver with a good move. Not expected, however, to go deep. And the crowd all of a sudden quieted on that 61-yard touchdown pass. And Chuck Nelson is on for the conversion. And Nelson has put the Rams suddenly out in front. And Preston Denard, in his 6th year out of New Mexico, a Don Klosterman find, gets the score. Then Ferragamo did it the way he likes to do it. Hang it up there high, hit Preston Denard right inside, 61-yard touchdown, and the Falcons, who had dominated, at least in terms of possession, find themselves down 7-3 with 3:28 remaining in the first quarter. Here's Darrell Riggs. He is the fastest back the Falcons have, even though he is, as I mentioned earlier, 6'1" and 230 pounds. Jeff Nelson to kick off. The side of his foot, taken over on the right side by Willie Curran. And Curran out over the 30-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for Atlanta. Return of 16 yards by Willie. And we'll be back in Atlanta. Chilly night for these young ladies. Talk about Doug Smith, the fine center for the Rams, and that is the wrap they have on his hand. And again, it's hard to believe he could play just from sheer pain. He was holding it waist high. That, of course, is thoroughly padded, and he is a right-handed snapper, even though he tried to work all week snapping it left-handed. The Falcons, their second possession of the game. Atlanta's had the football 7 minutes and 38 seconds, LA 3:54, but LA has the lead. 27-yard line for Atlanta. Matthews in motion, and Bartkowski is back. And Matthews gets his first reception of the season out of the 35-yard line. He's in there because of an injury to Bo Robinson as what they call their H-back.
A couple of times, Frank, we've seen him throw on first down. They had multiple receivers in the pattern. 4 guys were out. Pretty hard to cover. They got to really get the pressure back there on him with the 3-down lineman. They're not doing it.
Bartkowski 4 for 4. He's been sacked once, and that took them out of touchdown range. They're at the gain of 8, second down and 2. And it's William Andrews, short of the first down. And I think they're checking out Gerald Riggs. He was in there on the kickoff, and they're giving him that kind of a look that maybe they're questioning whether his eyes might be dilated, perhaps even a slight concussion.
Either that or he's trying to hypnotize him. He could hypnotize him. I don't know.
Third down and a yard. Three wide receivers are in. Stacey Bailey, Billy Johnson, and Alfred Jenkins, and Andrews a single setback on the third and short. Bartkowski fires it behind. Arthur Cox, and the rookie from Texas Southern, almost made a spectacular catch, and one has to wonder about that because the Falcons lead the league in third and short yardage.
That's exactly right. Over 90%. They've got William Andrews. One wonders why they wouldn't run. Take the first down, keep possession instead of giving it back to an explosive Rams offense.
Makes it very interesting, though. This is a hometown team here. They're trying to be hospitable.
Johnny Johnson is back. The Rams would like to have Leroy Irvin, one of the fine return men in the game, and the best over the past 3 or 4 years. But he's out with a full groin as Ralph Giacomaro, the rookie from Penn State, will punt for Atlanta. Off the side of Giacomaro's foot. Takes an Atlanta bounce and a good one. Dribbles inside the 10-yard line, and Johnny Johnson, who has not been back too often on punts, even though he's been back there over the past couple of weeks, perhaps should have stepped up and made the catch. Then Ferragamo, perfect on the night. And of course, the big one, the 61-yarder is Preston Denard to put the Rams on top, 7-3. 1:46 remaining in the first quarter. The Rams have a first and 10, their own 9-yard line. Farmer, the wide receiver, top of your screen. Dickerson, set up by Ferragamo, gets the quick toss. And a hustling Falcon defense.
Were they?
Will give the Rams a 1-yard loss, and they just smothered Dickerson.
We might remember that the Falcons held Eric to 62 yards rushing last time, 64 last time around. And maybe they've figured out how to stop this great runner, but only time will tell. He can buck at any time.
Right back to the line of scrimmage, so it's 2nd down and 10. Barber in motion, Dickerson left side. Try that for a while. And again, good pursuit. The first man there was Buddy Curry, and John Rady was up there to make sure, and a pickup by only 2. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Keep an eye on number 59, Rady, rookie linebacker, but he has begun to excel. He's exceeded all expectations very early on. Out of Boise State, a school made renowned by Don Meredith during a visit there.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Brady in there because of the loss of Al Richardson, who is probably out for the season with a broken clavicle. 3rd down and 8. Rams have their 50-50 back in. They're taking pass. The blitz is on, and it was Buddy Curry right in the face of Ferragamo, who was lucky to get rid of it to bring up 4th down, and Atlanta should have good field position. That's 2 big plays by Buddy Curry.
Had the guy in motion, no one's in the backfield to pick him up. You'll see Curry coming in right behind defensive backs right there. Nobody picked up Buddy. Boy, he picked up Vince.
I'll tell you, that's why they drafted Buddy Curry up high the way they did. They felt he had the potential of another Tommy Novus. Now, very few ever do, and maybe Buddy Curry won't, but he's a stick-out player already.
Billy Johnson, he's returned punts for 7 touchdowns in his career. Got his 7th earlier this year against the Jets. 30-second clock ticking down, but John Misko will get it off. Billy Johnson steps up into Ram territory, dances around, tries to get outside.
He's in trouble.
In deep trouble.
And he got out of it. That's amazing. I love it.
It's fun to watch, isn't it?
That really is.
Ain't nothing better on a rainy night in Georgia, I'll tell you that.
You are poetic. I want you to
Oh.
take it from here. Tell me how you figured this out. They'll draw this up on the board. This is a new punt return.
White shoes can do it. He gave one of the greatest individual performances I've ever seen against the Jets. He can do it to anybody. Look at him.
I thought he was in a lot of trouble right there. That was a good move.
Took his life in his hands. He was going backwards, and then
Billy Johnson doing his thing as the quarter expires. A 38-yard punt, a 13-yard return for the little man. Billy Johnson, we're back, and he is definitely back. 6 touchdowns. man put in for Houston in the middle 70s, had 2 severe knee injuries. Then he thought he couldn't make it anymore. Came back as a free agent from Canada a year ago, and this year is having a tremendous year, not only as a return man, but as a fine receiver. First down and 10, Atlanta, as the ball is batted away.
That play was pretty well set up, but he's been able to get that ball out there.
George Andrews stepping across, obviously on a blitz. He got the deflection. First quarter numbers for you.
First down, big edge to Atlanta, rushing, Atlanta, passing, the big one, Bergamo to Denard. That's the total yards, no turnovers yet. Atlanta dominating in time of possession, but unable to get the ball in when they had 1st and 4 to go for a touch.
Second down and 10, Bailey up at the top of your screen. Billy Johnson also in the lineup. Bartkowski dropped and had a man for a moment. It's incomplete.
You know, Don, last week we talked about Kenny Jenkins, the kick runner, picked up from the Eagles by the Lions, who's done so well out of Bucknell. And we talked about the kids from small schools who do so well. What I love about White Shoes, Frank, is he's from Widener College, just outside of Philadelphia. The Eagles didn't get him, and Widener against Swarthmore has become one of the great rivalries in college football.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, that really is.
Third down and 10. The ball just inside the 38-yard line. That's Billy Johnson, number 81, in motion. Bartkowski not to roll out past the quarterback. Sets up in the pocket, and Floyd Hodge, the third wide receiver in there, does not hold on. It would have been close to a first down, but that will bring up 4th.
So that's twice.
The punting unit come out.
Frank, that's twice the Falcons have failed to capitalize with excellent field position. Once from the 4, this time not so close, but they didn't do the job from the 37.
Giacomo hangs it high, looking for coverage, and it bounds into the end zone for the touchback. A punt of 38 yards to be credited with, but it'll come out to the 20-yard line. So there is, in effect, only a gain of about 17 yards on that punt. Bergamo, last moment instructions. We'll be back with more action. Back in Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium. Frank here along Howard Cosell and Don Meredith, enjoying the sights of Atlanta on a cool, blustery night. The heavy rain has not come. We've had almost a light drizzle falling throughout the evening. Rams on top over Atlanta, 7-3. First down and 10, the Rams after the touchback at their own 20-yard line. Mike Gooman is in there, number 44, along with Dickerson. Dickerson, delay right side. Gooman with a block. Maybe so. Watch out. And Dickerson gets the first down deep in Atlanta territory, and he also gets a Rams single-season rushing record with a gain of 33 yards.
Let's see if they stop the game, give him the football. He just broke Lawrence McCutcheon's record. No, they're not going to stop the game, which is proper. That will announce it, I'm sure.
That's a very interesting play. They bring Gooman from way on the other side, almost like a pulling guard. They get the other guard, Ken Hill, out in front of it, and Eric Dickerson, with his tremendous speed, and he runs about a 9.300, gets the first down, and they have marked it at the 48-yard line. Barry Redden will give Dickerson a bit of a breather. Barry Redden, first-round draft pick out of Richmond a year ago, another fine running back, and this is Redden. And Redden gets yardage to the outside, and the Rams are beginning to exploit the outside of the Falcon defense, where they've had trouble throughout the season.
Redden is a shy, withdrawn man out of Richmond who doesn't like a lot of attention. And John Robinson noticed that about him right away. And John Robinson would like to put him in more. And when he puts him in, he looks up, and next to him is Eric Dickerson. And he says, "What are you doing here? Get back in there." And that's the problem Redden has, and Dickerson is already back in.
I get a kick in.
Second down and 6. Bergamo quickly gets it out to the tight end, Mike Barber. And Mike Barber, who's had a bit of a resurgence in his career after coming to the Rams.
He'll talk to you.
A year ago. He'll chew the fat with him. He'll also hit you.
That's right. Barber's funny. So, you know, he's been blocking one way. He said, all my life I come out here, they tell me to block another way. And he says, I was not going to do that. Till all of a sudden I noticed that Eric Dickerson was running, and I said, I might better do that.
That's Barber's 41st reception of the year. And he, of course, came from Houston. His best year was 59 at Houston. And his young man named Dave Casper joined him down there. They started splitting duty, and Barber and Casper, neither one liked it. 31-yard line of Atlanta is the first down for the Rams. Truman in motion. I think maybe had a little switch up there. Denard bunts up there with Mike Barber, and Ferragamo throws it away.
Frank had a situation where he had guys open, but he was not ready to throw the ball. And when he was ready to throw the ball, the guys weren't open. And that's frustrating feeling for a quarterback. You got to move back out, get yourself set up.
That's our first penalty flag of the night, as Jim Tunney will talk it over with us.
Oh, Jim, that's him in a while.
Number 88, eligible receiver, stepped out of bounds, came back in and touched the ball. Foul is lost it down only. Second down.
As Preston Denard got out of bounds, came back in, touched the ball. And there's a loss of down with no penalty.
Well, that's cutting it. That's cutting it awfully short there.
They're very picky nowadays, aren't they?
Picky. I think the thing that upsets most folks, upsets me, all these penalties, is you never see half of them. You don't know what they're doing, what they're talking about. Somebody did this, did that, stepped out of bounds.
Problem is counting the players on the situation substitution.
That's right. Somebody should do that.
Need a specialist for that.
Second down and 10. The Rams can do that on second and 10.
Same play. They're going to run that one.
Student body right is what John Robinson called it at USC, and he is short of the first down by about a yard. Colton Kuykendall moving out there to make the stop for Atlanta. It'll be third down and 1.
What that sign you just saw did not relate to yesterday and the way the Patriots choked off the great young rookie quarterback Marino. You just saw John Robinson. It is now pouring rain, and as we said, ain't nothing better on a rainy night in Georgia.
You are poetic.
Gilman in the lineup with Dickerson. Gilman, very versatile athlete out of Penn State. He can run. He also can block for this man, Dickerson. Dickerson on his own gets the first down. Down to the 16-yard line.
He doesn't gain yardage. He chews it up. You take a ground level look at this remarkable player. Of course, he's from SMU.
Curry had a shot at him, but he does just keep his balance so well. Coming up, good hard lick. That was Pridemore.
Harry Dickerson, the pride of Sealy, Texas, where as a senior in high school, he rushed for over 2,600 yards.
Feet stay low to the ground. The stride is almost antelope-ish.
Barry Redden is in there now. Dickerson gets a breather. This is Redden. And Redden.
Good move.
And he is inside the 10 as the Rams are shredding the Atlanta defense on the ground. Reedy made the stop once again.
Repeat, big game for both teams. Falcons lose, they're dead on the year. Rams win, they're tied for first. NFC West with the Niners, who have the look now of a hot team again.
Played well yesterday, didn't it?
Certainly did.
Very sharp.
Crushed the Saints. Saints didn't get past their own 40 till the final 5 minutes.
And the remainder of the schedule for both these teams is a difficult one. We'll talk about it later. Right now, it's second down, long 3. The ball inside the 10-yard line of Atlanta. This is Redden. Redden close to a first down, upended by Buddy Curry.
We saw the Falcons down here earlier, and it's so easy to say, why do they call the plays they do? But they had a first down on the 4, try to throw a couple of passes with Andrews in there. If these guys get a first down on a goal, I think you'll see them running.
Yes, I think you'll see 29 back in there. Indeed, he is back in there.
They're bringing out the 6.
Bob Bucher is in the audience.
Man travels a lot, you know it?
Way to keep a little warm tonight. Measurement now.
Off the field goes Redden, and 29 is back in.
But Redden got the first down.
Good player.
Had a terrific college career, Redden.
Oh, did he?
Like Herschel Walker, and only one other guy had more yardage than his senior year.
That's absolutely right.
His senior, 1,629 yards, over 3,300 for his career at Richmond. Low to the ground, 5'10", 205. Right now, it's Eric Dickerson, high to the ground, 6'3", 220.
That was good, Frank.
First down, goal to go.
Going it like it is.
David Hill in motion. Here comes Dickerson. Boom. And carrying Atlanta Falcon players down close to the 1-yard line.
The man is so graceful, so swift, so subtle,
And powerful.
That's the point.
Yeah.
He is all of those things, and as a net, you overlook the sheer power of the man. And I wonder how our good friend the Juice feels looking at this man tonight, because he is clearly the best back to come into this league since the Juice did.
Juice last see anybody that can do something well, and he thinks, and certainly Eric, can do something well. Plus, he got him a heck of an education.
Dickerson on the back. 8 carries, 60 yards. Dickerson. He did it. Yep. Into the end zone, Eric Dickerson.
Unreal. Look at John.
The Falcons know about Dickerson because when they lost 27-21 earlier in the season to the Rams, it was Dickerson who carried the ball 8 times on a 98-yard drive that gave the Rams the winning difference. Well, that breaks another record. That Hirsch goes all the back to 1951.
He's going to break every record for rushing attempts. He'll shortly pass sooner than George Rogers would believe. George Rogers in that regard. Man's an incredible ball player. Here's to you, big guy.
Chuck Nelson for the conversion. Cromwell gets it down. And the Rams, who at one point trailed 3-0, move out to a 14-3 lead. 10:25 remaining in the first half. Eric Dickerson has taken control of this football game. Falcons seemingly unable to handle him. They meet him at the line of scrimmage. He pops tackle and was the principal architect of that last drive for the Rams. Here's Gerald Riggs dropping for Atlanta, and Chuck Nelson set to kick off. Riggs settles in at the 5-yard line. Look at Riggs. Watch out. Flag is down. As Riggs breaks it into Ram territory, 2 flags are down now.
That's a pity. With more speed, he might have broken the whole thing. But the flag, probably illegal use of hands. Common call in this situation.
47-yard return.
Holding.
That'll bring it back. And we'll tell you about college football coming your way this Saturday here on ABC.
Look at that.
Live at 12 noon. Regional action. We'll have Notre Dame getting it on with the Air Force. Don's alma mater, SMU against Arkansas. SMU is the winningest college football team in the nation for the past 3 years, having won 29 of 32.
That's good, Frank.
Holy Cross goes against Boston College, and I know Howard will be interested in this. Dartmouth goes against Penn. They are both 4-1-1 in the Ivy League Conference, and a 3-way tie with Harvard. They get it on with Yale, I think, Howard, don't they?
That's where I'll be. I'll watch the Blue beat the Crimson the way we beat the Tiger last Saturday.
If I could just finish. That will help determine the Ivy League championship.
Yeah. And
College football here on ABC.
why in SMU in a bowl game?
Atlanta, instead of being at the 45 of the Rams, start from their own 11-yard line, and Williams Andrews works it out close to the 15-yard line. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Tough break. I'd just like to say this about the Air Force Academy, Frank. They have one of the best ground attacks in the country. Look at the statistics.
Is that a pun because of the Air Force? You got them now on the ground, or is that
They're
for real?
on the ground with their football.
They're located in a beautiful city, Colorado Springs. 2nd down and 6. Andrews. Gain of about 3 to bring up 3rd down and 3. Again, the rain is falling. The umbrellas are out. The blackout lifted here in the Atlanta area. And a lot of people, I think, are home with their feet up and much warmer and much more comfortable than the fans that are here.
That shows you what Dickerson has done together with the one bomb Ferragamo to Denault.
Third down and 3. Billy Johnson in motion. And it was Billy Johnson motioning right, coming back across the middle. Bartkowski right on. First down, Atlanta.
Johnny Johnson was a delayed blitz in the safety position by the Rams. Didn't quite get there in time.
But they're living dangerously, Don, because Bartkowski had no back in there to pick up.
That's right.
The delay blitz. Johnson was just a little late.
He was just about a step late. You can see, White Shoes made a good catch. Got a good concentration there. Held on to the ball.
We're following the career of Nolan Cromwell. If you haven't seen the Rams this year, Nolan Cromwell is now the strong safety and putting in a good season there. For 6 years, he was the free safety. On 1st and 10, Bartkowski, a little short roll. Looks back.
Oh, that could be good.
This is Arthur Cox, the rookie from Texas Southern, open field. And Cox has a first down out of Atlanta's 44-yard line, taken there by Vince Newsom, who is filling in that injury-riddled secondary for the Rams.
Excellent call. Dandy, take the end zone replay.
Well, these are just fun plays, Howard. You know, if they work, they're really fun. But it's so well set up. You see Cox over there. He's got some good help. Some big guys out in front. Just runs right by him. I think I'd wait on him next time if I was him. Johnny Johnson's the guy that finally put the... I guess that was Johnson, and was that Vince Newsom, too.
They marked it at the 43. First down and 10, Atlanta. Batted down once again, and this time it was big Reggie Goff who batted the ball away. Earlier, George Andrews had batted a pass down by Bartkowski. It'll bring up second down and 10. We're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
This is KDUB TV 40, Dubuque, Iowa.
The Atlanta Falcons with 16 rookies on their roster. They started 6 tonight. One of the youngest in the NFL. I think perhaps Houston is starting more rookies. Boyd Hodge up at your top of your screen, second-year receiver out of Utah. On second down and 10. Bartkowski now 6-11, 67 yards. And the handoff to Andrews. And Andrews bowling ahead. He's in Ram territory, close to the 49. Where it'll bring up a third down and 2. George Andrews made the stop, and this will be an interesting call because earlier on a third down and 1, Bartkowski, and of course he does not call his own plays, but he did go to the air. When you got a William Andrews, you almost have to give it to him.
Trailing 14-3, I consider this a 2-down situation, and I love to watch William Andrews. I really do.
Well, keep your eye on him. He's going to get the ball right here.
If he doesn't,
you got to scoot.
Exactly.
Andrews also gets the first down, close to the 45-yard line. William Andrews came up, wasn't a high draft pick, third-round pick, mostly because he blocked at Auburn for Joe Cribbs and James Brooks, and was injured a great deal of his career at Auburn.
Never carried the ball at Auburn, virtually never.
He had 635 yards as a junior. But in the first game of his pro career against New Orleans, he went 167 yards, and he's been doing it ever since. Bartkowski gets it to Alfred Jenkins, incomplete. Covering with Eric Harris, who, by the way, Howard mentioned came from Kansas City. And the Rams had to shuffle their defensive secondary. Leroy Irvin going out 3 weeks ago. Harris played the right corner. He said, look, I play better in the left corner. Johnny Johnson moved from free safety. He hadn't played corner since high school, I don't think. He said, I don't care which corner I play. So he went over to the right side. Eric Harris on the left side. Vince Newsom is in at one defensive back. So what you basically have, all the Rams secondary men are playing different positions than what they were 7 weeks ago. Gerald Riggs in there on second down and 10, the setback for Atlanta. Bartkowski a lot of time, finds the man, however, with double coverage incomplete.
All you saw in the secondary were white shirts.
They did have a lot of
red shirts.
Right.
Great cover.
He had good coverage, but he didn't find anybody open.
Well, third down and 10 now for Bartkowski. Atlanta really really needs to keep the football away from these Rams. They have really took off here in the second quarter. Early part of the second quarter, the Rams did. Dickerson just running basically a will. Again, good protection. Man wide open. Boyd Hodge has a first down at the 25-yard line, and Bartkowski with a lot of time. Mike Kinn, Thielman, Van Note, Scully, Warren Bryant. They know this man can't move around a lot, so they really work on protecting him.
I'll tell you, Hodge was unattended. Look at this, Don.
That looked like maybe one of the mix-ups that could be caused by all those changes in the secondary that Frank was talking about. Cromwell was in a strong safety position, but it looked like somebody was hanging a little bit too far on the outside.
Vince Newsom is playing that free safety with Johnny Johnson over the right corner. Nolan Cromwell, the strong safety, and Eric Harris, the left corner for the Rams in that makeshift secondary. One first down. Bartkowski wants big one.
He's got it.
Fires and it's complete and drops inside the 5-yard line.
I mean,
It was Arthur Cox, the rookie from Texas Southern, who was really hit.
Right. He was scissored. He was right between two defenders, and they really look at him.
And Vince Newsom has been making a lot of hits tonight. I started to say a moment ago he's going to start talking to the linemen and the linebackers to slow them down before they get to the secondary. That he was in the right position that time.
And quickly, Arthur Cox is being treated on the field by the trainers. You'll see, once again, just the end of the play. He was scissored. Vince Newsom probably got the shot in there, and it looked like it was into the ribs, and one has to hope that this is just the wind knocked out of this youngster out of Texas Southern. They continue to work on Arthur Cox, and we'll be back in a moment. Arthur Cox is up, leaving the field on his own locomotion, and let's take a look at it again. I believe the way he was hit by Vince Newsom, that he did have the wind knocked out of him. Right on the side, and there is nothing quite like that feeling when you're trying to suck it in and nothing seems to work. 25-yard line, it'll be second down and 10. Alfred Jenkins, Floyd Hodge, Billy Johnson, those are your wide receivers.
Look for white shoes.
Andrews. Rams thinking pass, and the Falcons trying to take advantage of it, and they pick up 5, but it'll bring up a third down and 5. Well, they'll give him 6, so it'll be third down and 4.
Interesting call. There's Cox checking him out.
Talking with Eddie LeBaron.
Did you ever get hit that way, Frank?
He says this is a fine-looking prospect. Anyone that's ever played this game for any length of time is going to get hit somewhere like that.
Were you scissored that way?
No, Howard, I wasn't.
You were invulnerable.
Not that way. Andrews needs 1 yard for a 1,000-yard season. It'll be his 4th. Third down and 6. Bartkowski tries to go deep. His receiver, Floyd Hodge, is caught between two Ram defenders, and there are no flags, and the crowd doesn't like it. Billy Johnson is complaining, but no flags, and we'll see the field goal unit. Dick Luckhurst will come out, and once again, Atlanta seemingly will have to settle.
They come up, in effect, empty. Look at this.
I think Nolan Cromwell stepped on the back of his foot.
I must say this, the Atlanta fans are partisan, of course, but they're great fans. They remind me of the fans in Houston when they created Love Your Blue. Bring great excitement.
36-yard attempt. Luckhurst, 12 of 16 on the year. He said earlier tonight they're going to fake it. Borowski, the backup quarterback, has the first down.
He made it.
And that's a good call because the Rams have been controlling time of possession. Borowski, the holder, gets the first down. The crowd loves it, and finally that's a good call.
This is like Jeff Hayes for the Redskins against the Chargers. Remember a couple of weeks ago?
Well blocked this play.
It was well blocked, and Luckhurst was, of course, his option man, and you didn't see Luckhurst getting in there, but way to go, Mike.
He was out there in case.
Just in case.
They needed a last resort.
I'll tell you, I give a lot of credit to Dan Henning. He calls the plays.
First down and 10, 14-yard line. William Andrews, right side, breaks it back. He does that well. To the 7-yard line. Brutal running and brutal hitting.
Oh, does he barrel in? You just saw.
Andrews coming off a rather mediocre game for him a week ago against New Orleans when he was held a 45-yard line, 45 yards on 17 attempts.
Nobody's perfect.
He's busting tonight. And Atlanta is keeping the football away from the Rams offense. 3:40 and the clock is moving remaining in the half. George Andrews came in from the weak side linebacker and smashed Andrews with the line of scrimmage.
Quick note about George Andrews, about Owens, about Jim Collins, the #2 draft choice some years back from Syracuse. Those linebackers who were the keys to the Rams draft choices in the days when Klosterman stockpiled draft choices have come of age. They're playing very well.
That's Andrews, I believe, that is staying on the natural turf.
Andrews meets Andrews, and George got the best of that one. Williams was.
And it appears that Andrews is all right. And if you saw that play, Andrews probably saved a big gain or possibly even a touchdown because it was well blocked by Thielman and Van Note.
Frank Williams has passed Kurt Warner. He's now second again in the NFL in rushing. Derek Dickerson, of course.
And, of course, over 1,000 yards for his 4th time in a relatively young career. He's just now in his 5th year, and, of course, almost impossible to get 1,000 a year ago in a 9-game season. 3rd down, about 3. Riggs is in the lineup. And quite frankly, they don't lose an awful lot with Riggs. Bartkowski. The quick roll. Tries to get into the end zone to Hodge. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down and decision time for Dan Henning.
All right, now that we knew that, I just started to say, you know they're in that 4th-down situation. So you got to run at least twice down there, haven't you?
Exactly. I don't understand it either.
Well,
just praised Henning for his call on the Morosky run. I don't understand that.
Apparently they're not in a 4-down because Luckhurst is out.
He's
One
going to
would not anticipate
another
fake.
They're not now because they lost that down.
Well, you can take your praise back if you want to. You can say you were just teasing about Henning Luckhurst. I was just teasing about that.
Luckhurst again, 12 of 16 on the season. Left-footed kicker. Morosky, whom you saw a moment ago, run for the 1st down, is the holder. 23-yard attempt. Morosky gets it down. Luckhurst takes a deep sigh of relief, but he gets it through the uprights, and the Falcons have added 3. They trail 14-6. William Andrews being checked out on the bench. They first were looking at his eyes while we were away with commercial. Now they have checked the shoulder. And the Rams have deployed their return unit. Henry Ellard deep. Mick Luckhurst set to kick off. 2:48 remaining in the 1st half. Again, Luckhurst high and short. And we'll watch Robert Alexander. Alexander out over the 20, hit at the 23-yard line. Well, the Rams get the football back. One would suspect they will not leave what's working so well for them, and that is Dickerson right, Dickerson left. Give him a breather, bring in Redden, give him one play, then bring back Dickerson.
I love Robinson. He doesn't overcoach, you know. He really, he's got a sense of where he's at and a sense of the game, knows how to use his people. Kind of has a good time at it, you know, Frank?
Oh, he does, and he knows how to handle a back like Dickerson because he had Marcus Allen, he had Charlie White, both Heisman Award winners, and I think he coined the phrase, they like to run, and I like to watch them run. And Dickerson likes to work. He gets stronger as the game goes on. 1st down and 10, and they mark it inside the Rams 22. Bernard in motion. Of the little dump off to Dickerson. He makes it look so easy. That straight arm is so powerful. He straight arm John Rady, and the rookie from Boise State just bounced off him like he was playing high school ball.
What's amazing about this guy, Don, is that loping stride of his. You think he's gaining 3 yards, and you look up, and it's 9.
He only caught 19 balls, I believe, at SMU. And this was kind of the unknown factor about Dickerson when the Rams got him. And we were talking to Coach Robinson this morning. He's so pleased because you saw right there an excellent example of soft hands, they say. Soft hands.
And his 23rd reception on the year. Dickerson left. bobbles the ball. It's loose, and Dickerson very wisely falls on the ball to save what could have been an Atlanta recovery. By the way, they have taken the Atlanta Falcons rookie tight end Arthur Cox into the training facility for x-rays of his right arm. And we are counting down to the 2-minute warning. We'll get it before the play gets off. Rain letting up just a little bit. It still, however, continues to drizzle. And there is the 2-minute warning. The Rams over the Falcons 14-6. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. The Rams and the Falcons getting it on. The Rams leading 14-6. And a Ram victory tonight. They will move into a tie with San Francisco in the NFC West. Atlanta can stay in it. If they can win tonight, they'll be 2 behind San Francisco. But they play San Francisco right here next week. So they can't help themselves. Both of them, however, have tough seasons ahead, the rest of the remaining part of it. Not only San Francisco, but then Atlanta will take on Green Bay, Washington, Miami, and Buffalo. 3rd down and 8. Ferragamo, and he fires it to George Farmer, and Farmer has a first down out over the 35-yard line.
Farmer was so open from the very beginning. He went in the middle and nobody was there.
3 timeouts remain for both ball clubs.
Big play. Rams would like to get at least a 3-pointer out of this.
Hurry up offense for the Rams. Farmer once again. Farmer stops the clock, stepping out of bounds near the 42-yard line. Bobby Butler up there defensively. Gain of about 6 yards.
Jack Youngblood has been around for such a long time. Still is a leader of this uniform. You know,
he's a great man. Yeah. Everybody thought he wouldn't play in a 3-4 defense.
Do you think we resemble each other?
Very much.
A little bit.
Well, yeah, I think I'm a little bigger than he is.
William Andrews, we are told, has a bruised sternum. Think about Jack Youngblood. He's just amazing. He's in his 13th year. He's never missed a game because of injury. And he's had some severe injuries he played with.
Was a broken foot or a leg he played with one time?
Broken fibula. Timeout call by the Rams. And we'll be back with more action. But right now, this message from the National Football League. The preceding announcement brought to you by the National Football League, Nolan Cromwell and Rocky Balboa.
Nolan could have gotten him if it had gone a full 10.
Would have been one of your great mismatches.
It really might have been, as a matter of fact.
2nd down and 5. The Rams have 2 timeouts. 1:36 remaining on the halftime clock. Preston Bernard slips to the left by Vince Ferragamo. Larry Dickerson stays behind Ferragamo. He's the checkoff man. And he gets the screen.
What a nice move.
He can turn a screen into a big gainer. He gets the first down, stops the clock, moves into Atlanta territory near the 48. 1:27 remaining in the half.
Ken Hill was one guy out leading. I couldn't really see who he had a couple of good lead blocks out there. But
Ken Hill is an utterly huge man.
He really is. I'd try to stay behind him too, wouldn't you?
I sure would.
He is a housing project, isn't he?
Oh, he is huge. I was talking to him today. I said, Kent, don't come a step closer to me. I'll check you. I'll lead toward me.
And I'm sure he stopped right there at his strike.
I'm sure.
Frozen with fear. 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Dickerson stays behind Ferragamo. He'll look for the blitz. Then check off out the flat.
What an outside catch.
Oh! And this time tripped up, falling to the 40-yard line. Upsetting him was Bob Glazebrook, the nickelback for Atlanta. And Ferragamo hurrying the Ram offense back to the line of scrimmage. Gain of 8 by Dickerson. 2nd down and a long 2. Ferragamo fires it to Farmer, who stayed in bounds and gets up rather Preston Bernard.
And they're saying Preston went out of bounds again, I think.
I think he might have. Ferragamo had a lot of time, and it was really going to be a kill-the-clock play if Ferragamo thought he could get something out of it.
Receiver stepped out of bounds, became ineligible, then caught the ball.
That's twice.
Penalty is lost to down.
See,
3rd down.
A lot of receivers don't do that in a career.
Well, we know that penalty tonight because Preston showed us that one earlier.
See, a lot of strange things. Saw the Vikes with 12 men on the field on offense, 12 men on the field with defense in the space of 3 minutes in yesterday's loss to the Pack. Everything happens these days.
How do you lose with 12 men? Third down, long two, 57 seconds remaining in the half. Clock shows 57 seconds. Dickerson. And Dickerson close to the 35-yard line. He has first down yardage, and whistles blow.
That was really the key. What they're trying to do is
another timeout for the Rams. They're down to 1.
All right, let's look at the Niners against New Orleans yesterday. We pick up in the second quarter, 7-0 Niners, minute left in the half. Watch Joe Montana go to work to his favorite target, Dwight Clark. Touchdown, and that was Dwight's 8th touchdown of the year, 14-zip Niners. 2 plays later, Dave Wilson, the young man from Illinois, back to pass. Sacked by number 74, Fred Dean. What a day Dean had. 6 on the day in sacks. Ball recovered by Dwayne Boyd. That set up a field goal, 17-0 Niners. And then that one to Russ Francis. And so the Niners breathe 27-0 over the Saints.
Bergamo picked up some instructions, moves back into the Ram huddle. They would like to pick up at least 3 if they could. Their place kicker is Chuck Nelson, a rookie 4th-round draft pick out of Washington, who had a great career there, setting a couple of NCAA records, but he has not been all that spectacular with the Rams. First down and 10, the ball at the 35-yard line of Atlanta. Farmer split to the right, bottom of your screen. Bergamo looks over the middle and he finds the big tight end, Mike Barber. Stays on his feet, and Barber inside the 25. Another first down, but that's not the problem now for the Rams. They work against the clock that now shows 33 seconds and continues to move. They need to save their 1 timeout to get the field goal unit on if it becomes necessary. Bergamo, Farmer, incomplete, stopping the clock with 19 seconds remaining in the half.
Well, they got time for 1 more pass play, moving in closer, and then
It's Chuck Nelson. I spoke about his great record at Washington. He had set the NCAA record for consecutive field goals, made at 30 yards over the seasons of 81 and 82. Career accuracy, 81%.
Was that graphic correct? You saw what I saw. 0 for 2 inside the 30.
We've got an interesting flashback at halftime on a certain kicker who made history right here. We'll get to that.
Second down and 10, 24-yard line of Atlanta. Bergamo, Dickerson, they have a lot of room. And Dickerson avoids using the remaining timeout. There is time for another play with 12 seconds now on the halftime clock.
There really is, Frank. They've handled the clock beautifully.
Gordon Jones came back, made a good block that time on Curry coming back out there. Reserve receiver for the Rams. They do have a little more time.
The men who play for the University of Pittsburgh usually know how to block. Have you ever noticed?
I've noticed that.
Rams well within the range of Chuck Nelson. I don't know how strongly they feel about getting him out there, but it wouldn't be a bad time to tell Bergamo to put it in the end zone, go for the 6, be conservative with it, but let's try and get 6 out of it. Farmer, no, he bobbles the ball, incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down, and we will see Chuck Nelson.
Now, if you looked at the graphic a moment ago, Chuck is 0 for 2 inside the 29-yard line, but he's 3 for 3 between the 30 and 39.
Let's take a look at it again. Farmer never had control of it, and one of the officials right on top of it. Nelson 4 of 9, as I mentioned. He's had misses from 21, 27, 40, 41, and 47, and this will be a 36-yard attempt. Cromwell, by the way, a fine athlete, is the holder. That's blocked. That was blocked.
They block one every game.
1 second remaining in the half.
Big play.
Rich Dixon comes off. I believe he was the man who got the hand on it coming in from the right side. That ball didn't get up very quickly.
No, it really didn't. But am I not right? Haven't they blocked at least a field goal, extra point, or punt or something at least once a game this year?
You're right. They're very good at that. They did it against the Jets, and that great come-from-behind victory they engineered. And indeed, the blocked field goal on Leahy may have been the key to the whole game.
Hey, John Robinson would have liked to have got something out of that. Atlanta has showed the ability to move the ball, and they stay now, as we will probably go into the halftime, with only an 8-point lead. This is Gerald Riggs' expiring time here in the first half. Fifth consecutive game, Atlanta has blocked a field goal, and it was a big one. We'll be ready for our halftime highlights after this message and a word from our local station. Set to go here for the second half. Eric Dickerson on the sidelines. He had a big first half. And yet the Rams failed to get the 3 points. At the end of the half, could have made a major difference. So the lead is 14-6. Gerald Riggs has dropped deep. For Atlanta to receive the kickoff of Chuck Nelson. Atlanta 4-6 in the season. The Rams 6-4. For the Rams, a win tonight. They move into a tie with San Francisco in the NFC's West. Atlanta needs it just to stay alive, and then they entertain San Francisco here on Sunday. Nelson hits it, and Riggs takes it at the 6-yard line. And Riggs with another fine return. He had one at 57 yards earlier that was called back because of a foul. But he gives Atlanta good field position out of the 32-yard line on a 27-yard return.
All right, the first quarter stats where the edge in total yards was lodged with the Rams, but Atlanta dominated in possession of the football even though they trailed. Then at halftime, things evened off in first downs, but in total yardage, the Rams dominated, but Atlanta still governing time of possession.
First down and 10, they march it close to the 33-yard line. Ferragamo and Bartkowski will be the quarterbacks, and Bartkowski drops back on first down, tries to get it deep, and intended for Alfred Jenkins. He was well covered back there.
Johnny Johnson did such a good job. That, as Frank mentioned in the first half, that's not his normal position. He had played cornerback since he was a high school player in LaGrange, Texas. But he got it, But look at this. He's keeping his distance. Jenkins is making his move. Johnson's got his eye on the ball now. Just a slight little push with that left shoulder.
Yeah.
But look at that. Right on over the shoulder and knock it down.
Great athlete, top draft choice from the University of Texas. No question about Johnson. Some dissension caused by his signing because of the money he got at the time, but he's proved out.
It'll be second down at 10. Gerald Riggs stays in the lineup. William Andrews, we were told, has a bruised sternum. We didn't know whether he'd be back or not. But he's not opening here in the second half. Bartkowski runs into the pocket.
Look at that time.
And this is not Bartkowski's long suit, but he does negotiate about 5 yards out of it, and it'll be third down and 5.
A good example where they had the 3 guys rushing, and they couldn't get anybody in there. But Bartkowski couldn't find anybody, picked up 3 or 4 yards.
And Bartkowski at the University of California. And interesting, Ferragamo and Bartkowski were both at the University of California. And it was Bartkowski who came out the winner in that duel, and Ferragamo went on to the University of Nebraska, changing schools, as a matter of fact, right, because of Bartkowski. So there's a whole lot on the line for these two tonight. I'm sure there are memories. Third down and 5. Billy Johnson is in motion. And this time Bartkowski gently taken to the turf by Jack Youngblood. Youngblood's 6th sack of the season.
Merlin Olsen was the only guy that ever did that to me, and I've always liked Merlin for that.
I'll tell you something. John Robinson at the production meeting today said, we put in the 3-4. As you look at Steve there, and DeJournay is on the ground being traded. And they all said Jack Youngblood wouldn't play in the 3-4. And John Robinson told how completely malleable he was and what a team man he's been. And right there, he did gently deposit Steve Bartkowski, who, in the immortal words of Frank Gifford, when it comes to carrying the football, grows a little long in the tooth.
I understand the trepidation on the part of Jack Youngblood because he only weighs 245, and you played the strong side, which is a defensive left end, against predominantly right-handed teams, and they all are. At 245, you got your hands full, but he is so quick He can move into that offensive tackle, even though he plays a little wider than most 3-4 down men. He can get into him so quickly, he can ward off the block. Fourth down, Giacomo is in. Johnny Johnson is deep for the Rams. Short kick, but it does take an Atlanta Falcon bounce all the way down inside the 30-yard line, where the Rams will trot their offensive unit out for their first session here in the second half. A 47-yard punt, which actually, again, should have been fielded. Somebody should have been up there, and of course, they missed their fine return man, Leroy Irvin.
All right, we've learned Cox will not be back tonight, the tight end who's been showing so well. Remember, he underwent x-rays for the arm. We are still doubtful about the future performance tonight of William Andrews, and he's got to be missed terribly as long as he's Adler. Second break on a bounce. Short punt, bad punt, second Atlanta break tonight.
Ferragamo on the first half, 11 of 16, 146 yards, a 61-yard touchdown pass to Preston Denard. That's the margin of difference. Eric Dickerson. And Dickerson out over the 30-yard line. He'll get 3 out of it. It'll be second down and 7 up there first for Atlanta, Bobby Butler. Don, you as a quarterback, it's kind of a comfortable feeling, isn't it, as we look at the way the Rams have moved their ball. When you look back and you have a setback behind you like Dickerson, you can do so much with him.
Well, I never really had one like Dickerson, but it is comfortable.
No one else did either.
That's true. But it is comfortable to have that. You got to have somebody back there that can move that ball for a little bit.
We have a second down and 7. Ferragamo wanted to go deep, but he dumps it off to Dickerson, who gets his 6th reception of the game, but only about a yard and a half. It'll put Ferragamo in the passing situation at third down and along 4. James Britt, the rookie starting strong safety, upended Dickerson.
Only the start of the third quarter, and yet a big play. The Falcons must get back into this game. They must get their offense rolling. They have failed to do so in their earlier series, and now if they can hold the Rams here, they have a chance to get reasonable field possession.
2 tight ends are in, Barber and David Hill. Single setback is Dickerson.
Hey,
that's what you can do with the Dickerson.
Yes, indeed. Is that, I tell you,
a third down and call it 5, and the Rams come with a trap block up the middle. The Atlanta Falcons thinking pass. We're on the pass rush, and watch Dickerson break it off. There's the trap. Didn't even have to trap him.
Really did. Good move right there coming up the middle. We can now add another one. Dickerson to the left, Dickerson to the right, Dickerson up the middle.
Dickerson now 99 yards on the night.
Not only that, a perfect evidence of what we referred to in the very opening of the telecast, his peripheral vision, the uncanny sense of where the defenders are and the ability to evade them.
I'll tell you, he'll revolutionize the prevent defense because you can go to him on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6. This is Barry Redden as Dickerson takes a breather, and Redden performs sharply up to the 22-yard line, 8-yard pickup.
A good move by Redden, Frank. Too many times you see guys go out there and not make that cut back up the field. Saw the flow of the defense going to the sideline. He was able to cut it right back behind that block, straight up the field, picked up a good gain.
You see Redden looking over his shoulder. He ran the ball one time. He looked over to see Dickerson coming in.
I don't want Robinson to look around. He'll see Eric and get back in there.
Dickerson, of course, wears those prescription goggles, and it is pouring rain here in Atlanta. I'm sure that probably is bothering his vision. Second down and 2. That's Redden, and he'll have a Ram first down.
Tell you, well, that's Bill Edwards of the ABC staff.
I don't want to tell you non-smokers out there, the Billy's right up there pretty smartly in yours, too.
Yeah.
Still gets the job done great for us.
You know what the Rams are developing, Frank? The ability to make the big play under Robinson. Really. And tonight, so far,
how about under Dickerson?
Well, I call it how you want, but give the coach some credit.
18-yard line, first down and 10 to Rams. Otis Grant, a rookie from Michigan State, wide receiver. He's top of your screen. They're going to Grant. That was a timing pattern. Grant was going to square out at about the 2-yard line. He slipped and fell on a very wet turf.
He was pretty well covered all the way. It was Johnson, Kenny Johnson back there that had it. No place to go.
Otis Grant was recruited at Michigan State as a quarterback and moved into wide receiver, and he had a great career there.
That would have really upset me.
Moved me to wide receiver. I'm not so sure about your great career following the change.
Oh, that's right.
L.A. distributing their offense, 149 passing, 126 rushing. They're at 275 total. Second down and 10. Dickerson. And a lot of folks in front of him, and David Hill with a vicious block out in front of Dickerson, as Dickerson is close to another Ram first down.
I don't believe the yardage that man gains. It looks like he's gaining 2-3 yards, and again, he's got almost a first down. It's ridiculous.
Well, he followed David Hill, and I was trying to say a moment ago, we saw David Hill on a good lead block on a second and short. But that's one of the new, or the innovations, I guess, in offenses that I've seen the last few years, where they start this guy in motion a little bit from that set position. He comes back in and cracks back like an old trap block on one of the guys in the middle.
We've got 9:29 left in the third quarter, and he's got 153 yards in total offense already.
Dickerson has only missed 100 yards once this season. That was against Atlanta. He's corrected that. His first down goal to go. Dickerson left.
Hello, the middle.
What a move.
You only see that in greatness.
That's right.
Phil Bain with a big block out in front of Dickerson, but that was a Dickerson touchdown.
That really was. Yeah, the ability to stop, make that move, and accelerate. He has a long stride. Let's just watch it. I like to watch it.
Great cutback. Goes against the grain. Atlanta overrunning it.
Kent Hill had a pretty good position on his linebacker in there. See if we can see Kent Hill, number 72. He's the guy that's going to push him out to the outside, right? Well, where did Kent go?
Think back a couple of minutes ago. It was Dickerson on a 3rd down and 5. The Rams
right.
in their own territory. They broke off the big one.
That was the big one.
That kept the drive going. Here's Nelson for the conversion.
And that cutback you just saw on a wet field. Oh.
Cromwell bobbles a slippery ball.
Center was a little high, though, Frank. That was
So the
not as
Rams
good as it
lead
could
is
have been.
now 20-6 following the missed conversion. Dickerson having a very healthy night. Eric Dickerson, and the great ones truly make it look easy. There are not many backs that ever played this game that would have got into the end zone from there. And he just made it look routine.
Let me tell you, Frank, I have all the respect in the world for Craig James, Dickerson's teammate at SMU, but a vote of thanks has to be owed to the SMU coach in those years for giving Craig equal time with Dickerson.
119 yards now for Dickerson.
Ron Myers you're talking about now.
For some years, yes.
Well, he saved a lot of wear and tear for the Rams. Nelson hits it. Short kick. And it's caught on the bounce by Gerald Riggs.
Fumble.
The Rams are going to get it back.
Uh-oh.
Rams have it back. Nolan Cromwell is the safety. We'll check out the bottom of that pile. It is, I believe,
Nolan Cromwell.
Nolan Cromwell.
Not a happy night for our good friend Rankin Smith, the owner of the Falcons.
Ball just punched loose. No, that was the kicker.
All right.
It was Chuck Nelson. Punched out of there by Alexander, Robert Alexander, knocking the ball loose, and it was the kicker, Chuck Nelson, that puts the Rams back. Good field position. They're at the 32-yard line of Atlanta.
You see what he just said?
Who?
Hello, Don. Chuck Nelson.
I'm not the only Don around. I mean,
I'm a lip reader.
Oh.
I mean, it might have been D-A-W-N.
that should have been. Good thinking, Frank. Quick.
Nice-looking youngster out of Washington.
Could have been like Delta Dawn. What's that cut on you got on?
Dickerson stays in. Inside handoff, Gooman. And the versatile one from Penn State goes for 5 yards. Staying warm on the sidelines is Billy Johnson. It is a cool night. crowd has thinned considerably in the pouring rain here in Atlanta.
Mike Goodman got the ball, carried it. Lad from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, the home of Lehigh, but went to Penn State.
So he's had to sacrifice a lot with Dickerson. He's had good years, all 3 years he's been with the Rams. That was his 4th attempt of the season, rushing.
I thought he was from Allentown.
Dickerson, and they'll mark it close to another Ram first down.
Goodman's from Allentown.
Goodman?
Yeah.
Bethlehem.
Dickerson continuing to pile up the yardage.
Well, triple cities. Oh, Easton, Allentown,
Yeah.
Bethlehem.
Not too far from Elephant.
Easton is Lafayette. Bethlehem is Lehigh. And O.J. Simpson had better look out.
I agree with Don. O.J. has admired this player ever since he came to the Rams. And I think there's a very strong, I'd say, probability that he is going to break the record should he stay healthy. He just does it too well, and he gets the ball too often. Ferragamo over the middle, David Hill, and he's close to another Ram first down.
They got a Falcon down that could be really hurt.
They're shredding them now.
So getting up is Don Smith, and perhaps the best of the defensive linemen for the Falcons, and they have been severely hurt by injuries over this season.
Frank, you got to remember the Juice set his marks in 14 games.
Yes, he did. But they play 16.
Now,
We'll be back. Don Smith, apparently all right, came off the field under his own power, the leading pass rusher for the Falcons. Falcons now, however, really being taken apart at the defensive line by not only good blocking, but the almost incredible running of Eric Dickerson. What's he up to now? 123 yards, Eric Dickerson?
Got him wrestling right now.
Barry Redden in there now. Redden tries the right side. They don't lose much with Redden. He gets a first down. It'll be first down, goal to go inside the 10-yard line. It really is tough when you're a back like Barry Redden, and then with the Falcons, Gerald Riggs, because Andrews up until tonight has been very durable. Andrews has only missed one game in his 5 years, although he is out of the lineup at the moment. But Eric Dickerson, he just seems to get better the more often you give him the football. So Barry Redden comes in, runs the ball once, looks over his shoulder. And out comes this man, Eric Dickerson. That was the 12th Ram rushing first down. Boom! And we heard it all the way up here as it was Mike Pitts, the rookie from Alabama.
not that time.
Who is going to become a good football player in the National Football League.
Good, he's going to be all pro. He's had some year this year. He's grown and grown and grown. He's had pass rush after pass rush. You don't even measure him by the number of sacks, but by the number of times he's pressured the quarterback.
Yeah,
Terrific young player.
Learning, too, because he comes in spottingly behind Jeff Yates, and yet he is right up there with sacks along with Don Smith. Mike Pitts, the rookie from Alabama. Second down, goal to go. Dave Hill in motion. Farmer's wide open.
He was. Could have been that little pick move there that time.
I still don't see them raising their hands indicating touchdown. Now we get it. And a good move by Farmer. Derek Hamill watched him all the way. Got it in there low. Could not be deflected, and the Rams have moved out further on top.
Interesting little demonstration.
Yes, it was.
Touchdown.
May not see David Hill, the tight end, go to the outside. Farmer comes back to the inside. Whether you call that a pick move or whatever it was, he got that extra step that he needed and was wide open. That ball was a little bit low. Nice move. Nice catch.
Remember Farmer, great game that Ferragamo had against the Bears a year ago when he threw for 509 yards. Farmer had 189 of them. We have Chuck Nelson on for the conversion, which he promptly executes. And the Rams have spread the game out considerably. They now lead 27-6. We'll be back in a moment. 5:36 remaining in the third quarter. And the Rams having a big night. Behind Eric Dickerson. They promptly converted that turnover on the part of the Falcons into a 6-pointer.
Scores 27-6. At this point, there may be something better to do on a rainy night in Georgia.
I suggest you exhort Atlanta.
Exhort them. Bring them back, Howard. You can do it.
Riggs is back. Nelson hangs it high. And Riggs from the 10-yard line. Out over the 30 once again for Riggs.
With Andrews not in there, you've got to have a little letdown, I would think, from the offensive standpoint.
Saturday, Wide World of Sports, 5 o'clock here on ABC. International Professional Figure Skating Championships. All the beauty and the grace of some of the great skaters. Janet Lynn, Robert and Cousins, Paula Cranston. And the World Weightlifting Championships from Moscow. And you'll see some of the fine middle heavyweights in that competition. Wide World of Sports this Saturday. Let's take a look at it from the end zone.
Good. Look at Eckert.
Riggs.
Oh, did Carl Eckert make a good step in there in the middle linebacker position? Read that play perfectly. Number 55.
Crowd booing somewhat on that call. They want Bartkowski to get it up in the air.
Well, that takes us back.
We
to
did
the
that once in Houston.
First year of Monday Night Football, we found a fan as Oakland was killing somebody. They were Oakland then. And it was Houston, I guess, and Dandy made his classic comment.
No.
2nd down and 6. Riggs once again.
Atlanta.
And the Falcons trailing 27-6. Keep it on the ground, and the crowd doesn't like it.
Yeah, you want to chew up the clock.
No, they've got to establish the run before you go to the air. It's one of the basics of football.
I know.
3rd down and 3 now for Atlanta. Dan Henning molding this team in his own form, if you will. He's got a lot of youngsters. Now Richardson out of the lineup defensively. Joel Williams up in Philadelphia. 2 outstanding linebackers from years past. Jenkins in motion, and Bartkowski now back. And Bartkowski, yes, a great catch by Billy Johnson.
That was a good catch. No, he threw a little high outside that time.
Billy Johnson stayed in bounds. Bartkowski had to roll out of the pocket as Johnson had to put a whole bunch of moves on the defensive man covering him.
Had an awful lot of time to throw. We saw Steve move out of the pocket. Johnny Johnson was trying to get there about a half step short.
Great concentration to get that right foot down, keeping both feet in bounds. 1st down, Atlanta. They're at their own 47-yard line. The crowd quieted for a moment. Bartkowski underneath to Gerald Riggs. And Riggs out of bounds at midfield. Gain of about 3. Nolan Cromwell there defensively. Chester's getting creative.
That time. It's about that time. Somebody should be creative. Well, let's see here. 2nd down
And 8.
8.
3:53 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the ball resting at Atlanta's 48-yard line.
Is this the 3rd quarter?
There's a reverse. Uh-oh. Stacey Bailey is in a lot of trouble. Oh, now in more trouble. As he is hammered by defensive back Vince Newsom. That's a couple of good hits to Vince Newsom in the lineup because of Leroy Irvin's injury.
You know, he really has made some good defensive plays. He's been around. You see him throw at those young guys a lot, but old Vince has kind of been in the action most all night.
I find it a very interesting series of calls.
It's Newsom, a rookie 4th-round draft pick out of Washington. Roaming around back to free safety where Johnny Johnson has moved over to the left corner. Eric Harris to the right corner, and of course Nolan Cromwell, a strong safety. From the end zone, 3rd down and 12.
Right there.
Bartkowski, and he picked off Johnny Johnson. The Rams get another turnover. They bring it back close to Atlanta's 40-yard line.
Well, we've told you about Johnny Johnson, top draft choice from the University of Texas, playing out of position and quickly adapting to it.
Hey, he may have a hard time leaving that position the way he's playing it.
Right. Great athlete's a great athlete, and he's proving it.
Toughest spot on a football team to play, I think.
Beautifully thrown, right to Johnson.
It was the Rams already on top, 27-6. Have the football back. Atlanta territory once again. And we'll be back at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in just a moment. Back. And Atlanta, they have turned it over. Bartkowski, intercepted by Johnny Johnson. For the Rams, 42-yard line of Atlanta. Dickerson stays in the lineup, having a big night. Dickerson right. Oh, isn't that pretty? And Dickerson out of bounds for the Ram, first down at the 30-yard line.
I never did touch him either. He didn't.
Hello again, everyone. My name is Eric Dickerson. You can find me 12 yards further up.
I'm from Sealy, Texas, and watch this move. Hesitation right here, trying to get to the outside. Saw that good, quick move up. They never laid a hand on him. He went outside.
That's rhythm he has.
Yeah, that's so nice. Pretty to watch.
A little bouncy step. He does so many things well, as Johnny Robinson was telling us this morning. He's learned a lot, I think, watching Franco Harris. When he's in deep trouble, he settles in, takes the shot, goes down, avoids the violent collision. But when he has to, he'll really turn it on. Wow. Like right there. And this time held to a 3-yard pickup. Hit by Fulton and Kuykendall.
Frank, that's a critical point you just made. He has a knack for getting out of bounds, protecting the body when most it's vulnerable. And he's learned that, according to John Robinson, from studying through the years Franco Harris.
And he always thanks his mother and daddy a lot, because he learned a lot of it from them. He just drove up and knowed how.
139 yards he's picked up tonight. 19 attempts. I think he might have got just a little too much moisture on his lenses. He indicated he wanted to come out, so he goes to the sidelines, and Barry Redden is in. Now the Rams, Vince Ferragamo either doesn't like the personnel he's got, or is unhappy with the defense he was looking at and the play that was sent in. He calls timeout with 2:07 remaining in the third quarter. We'll be right back. Eric Dickerson on the night, 180 yards, and the Rams 338 yards total. Now that's not a very good night for Eric, because he's been averaging about 80 yards, 80% of their offense. He is put on some show tonight. We're back at second down and 6. The ball at Atlanta's 25-yard line. Barry Redden in there now. Hey, handoff goes to Gooman inside, and Gooman short of the first down near the 20-yard line.
Mike's getting a lot of work tonight. Twice he's been allowed to carry the ball.
Little single wing play. Remember, they used to set him out in the slot, come back into the middle there. They pull them all out.
Mike Gooman's a valuable ball player. As you've seen earlier, he is a great blocker. Becomes, in effect, a tight end in the Robinson scheme of things, and leads the charge. Good football.
Third down and 1. Dickerson back in. Dickerson right. How he does it, I don't know, but he gets the first down. Running through John Rady. Down close to the 17-yard line.
There were people at SMU who said he can run, but he can't really take a hit. You've seen enough tonight to know he can take any hit that anybody's got to give. Look at the graphic.
What they probably meant was that he ran so well that nobody ever hit him. Could be what it was.
No NFL rushing champion has ever played on a team that reached the Super Bowl.
That could very well stay intact. First and 10. 38 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And trying to get the ball to Ellard. Ferragamo hung Ellard up for a pretty severe hit.
Pridemore was the guy that was the deep man in that kind of double coverage, and he just zeroes in. Vince did something that time, Frank. You know, he watched him all the way. So he gives that defensive secondary a little chance to zero in, and they're going to do just that.
Anyway, foul.
It'll be second down and 10.
Leave it up.
David Hill checks in, tied in, along with Mike Barber. Mike Barber hasn't caught his customary pass down the middle. They like to go to him in a situation like this. Dickerson right side. And Dickerson hammers his way for a pickup to the 15-yard line.
That might have been an example of what you guys have been talking about when he sees that there really is no place for him to go. There's a way you can kind of learn to take a hit, as they say. You relax a little bit, roll with the punch. He did that, it appeared to me, that time.
Time will run out here in the third quarter before we'll see another play. You're watching another exclusive of ABC Sports. The Rams over the Falcons 27-6. We'll be back with fourth quarter action, but right now, this word from our local stations. As you can see, the Dandy One and yours truly in government issue.
Here we are. That's it. ABC Sports.
Man in the middle with his plastic mohair.
What did you say about his hair?
Plastic mohair coat.
Talking about Cashmere.
Cashmere.
Wishes he had one.
Oh, no. Such envy.
Back to action. Fourth quarter begins. Third down and 7. The ball at the 15-yard line. Barry Redden is in there. Lines up a little deeper than Dickerson. Ferragamo's back. Throws underneath. Henry Ellard. A young rookie we've been talking about throughout the evening. A lot of potential, this youngster.
Was he hurt a little bit last year? Or he just didn't get to play very much?
Well, he was at Fresno State.
See there?
He might have been hurt a little bit.
I thought you were talking about another guy. He's a rookie, right? Fresno State. Yeah.
Right up the valley from Bakersfield.
That's good. Well, he could have been hurt at Fresno
A lot of people in Bakersfield call it a suburb.
Uh-huh.
Jim McDonald comes in, a rookie tight end from USC.
It's nice here in Atlanta.
Clearing out, too. It's starting to get colder.
I thought you meant the stadium was clearing out.
I mean,
That's cleared
it's
out.
freezing and the stadium is cleared out.
Here's Chuck Nelson in there to attempt to add 3 more points to the Ram lead, a 27-yard attempt. Chuck Nelson had a similar attempt earlier, blocked. And this one he squeaks through.
He did. Slid that one right by.
Chuck Nelson, I think, like his special little blanket, he misses the tee that he was able to use in the college football games. We'll be back in a moment.
I tell you what, these folks just tell it like it is.
Trailer for sale already.
I'll tell you.
It's going to be one of those, right?
Look at those stands. The place is packed. The excitement grows. Game is never over until the last man is out.
Gerald Riggs is back. He's had some big returns tonight. One of them, 57 yards, called back. And this will be Kenny Johnson, rather, cornerback. He works it out over the 25-yard line. And out comes the offensive unit for Atlanta. College football, a reminder once again, 12 o'clock Eastern time here on ABC. Notre Dame and Air Force, SMU with the nation's best winning record over the past 3 years.
Yeah, Ponies.
SMU going against Arkansas. Holy Cross against Boston College and Dartmouth against Penn in a very important Ivy League game. College football right here on ABC. He'll be with us 12 o'clock on Saturday.
I've never seen one of those before.
Oh.
William Andrews has stayed out of action the entire second half. Bruce Sternum, we were told. Bartkowski back on first down. Gets it to Riggs. Riggs cuts back behind the block and runs right into big Reggie Doss. Down he goes after a gain of maybe a yard and a half.
Wonder if Tex Schramm is watching this game. There are the halftime stats. Shows you how little time of possession can mean, despite the protestations of some that it's critical. But that did turn around in the third quarter as the Rams assumed total domination of the game. In the meantime, Tex Schramm announced that because of the ill health of Clint Murkison, indeed, the Dallas Cowboys are up for sale. And watching this game, now we have this.
No, that's...
And down goes one of the apparently slightly inebriated fans. You hate to see this.
We're not going to show this. We've been through this before.
Hey, somebody took. You're not going to show up that Johnny Johnson made one of his better hits of the night.
It was a forearm shiver.
Steve Bartkowski coming off a weak game a week ago against New Orleans, having his problems tonight.
Speaking of New Orleans, way down under in New Orleans, there's a land of dreaming scenes. There's a Garden of Eden, and I don't even get to go.
I think the Jets will be happy to get out of town.
The Jets and the Saints. Well, New Orleans sure a great city.
Where are you going to eat down there?
You're not going to hear a word from me.
Wait a minute. I understand you're going to take your clarinet, and you're going down to...
I'm going to join Pete Fountain and Al Hurt.
Yeah.
I began with the great Bob Crosby Bobcats band and the...
Why did you bring it up, Don?
I don't know. Well, I'm trying to find a place for this guy.
I taught Artie Shaw how to do Frenesy.
We've got a second down and 10. Order has been restored here in Atlanta. This is Riggs. He's wide open over the middle, and he'll get the first down. And there is still, despite the discouragement and score, some hard hitting taking place.
Now that's...
Gerald Riggs says, I want to come out for a moment. They really have got nobody to put in there without changing their offensive set considerably. And now we see Lynn Kane for the first time tonight. Lynn Kane, who played his collegiate football with Johnny Robinson at USC. Got off to a great start as a rookie. Then his second year over 900 yards. Hasn't seen much action with the arrival of William Andrews. This is Lynn Kane.
Still don't have word, Frank, on what really is wrong with William Andrews.
Bruce Sternum is what we were told. Rankin Smith, I saw at halftime, he said he understood that he was kicked in the back, lower back.
It looked to me, though, you know, when George Andrews came in and tackled him, that it just could hurt him all over. It's beginning to rain out there.
It is pouring once again.
It is unbelievable.
Well, it's almost believable. Second down and 8. Bartkowski gets it out to Billy Johnson. Billy Johnson short of the first down at Atlanta's 47-yard line. Boy, it is pouring now. You're right, Coach. It is unbelievable.
It is coming on down.
We may have 2,500 people left within the arena, and they are hardy souls, believe me.
And 3,500 watching at home.
Third down, short yardage. Kane gets the call, right side. He'll be short of the first down. He's piled up.
Don't know why.
We'll bring up a fourth down for Atlanta.
There's no sun up in the sky.
Eric Dickerson, 146 yards on the night. That brings him up to 1,369 yards thus far through 11 games, and I doubt if we'll see him again tonight.
I must say, I thought this would be a good game.
Well,
The fact that it turned out otherwise,
It's a very good game for the Rams.
of course.
they did play pretty well. They actually did. Their offense moved very well. Talking to LeBaron, he says, you know, we've been able to score quite a bit this year, but we haven't been able to stop anybody.
Not tonight,
They
they
didn't
couldn't.
score much tonight.
Atlanta took the initial lead, and we are going to watch Atlanta now on a fourth down and less than a yard. Lynn Kane will have the first down as he gets inside the 45-yard line. You think this is job is easy, Mom?
I'll tell you, our cameramen have great fortitude.
That's it.
Neither rain, nor hail, nor sleet, nor snow, nor...
No, whatever. It's company men. Company men is what we have.
45-yard line. Atlanta has a first down. Bartkowski gets it to Lynn Kane. And Kane up close to another first down. And the man who blocked for Charlie White en route to his Heisman Award is seeing a little action here in the fourth quarter with Riggs taking himself out of the game and Andrews not coming back from a second quarter injury.
Lynn is in his option year down here. A lot of folks don't know whether he'll be back next year.
You're talking about Lynn Kane, of course.
Yeah, Lynn.
Lynn Kane is a quality football player. The stories are that he will jump to the USFL. That remains to be seen.
At the 34-yard line of the Rams, Bartkowski looks to Billy Johnson, incomplete. That'll bring up second down and 10. Steve Bartkowski is off to a great start. 3 weeks he led the NFL in passing.
All right.
That's how the standings will look after tonight.
This win tonight puts the Rams in a tie with the Niners. And despite the earlier jocularity, next Monday night's game is important because a victory for the Saints is critical to their playoff hopes, which is still very much alive.
On second down and 10, Bartkowski trying to time it out. Stacey Bailey, and a flag goes down, I believe, against Johnny Johnson, who was stride for stride with Stacey Bailey down the sideline.
That's Gil Mason, side judge that called. He just couldn't find his flag. It was a interference call there. Yeah.
Number 20, first down.
Johnny Johnson has played a superb game at corner, left corner. It's called for the infraction. Let's take a look at it. Stacey Bailey sprinting down the sidelines. The ball is in the air at this point.
Now, see right there, that little push and shove? You can only do that in the first 5 yards. See, I know this stuff.
You can only do it once.
That's it.
So the penalty will give Atlanta first down inside the 15-yard line of the Rams. Gerald Riggs back in the lineup.
But it should.
9:32 remaining in the game.
Plenty of time.
For the traffic to clear.
Yeah, that is the good news.
Rain continuing to pelt down. Billy Johnson motions for Atlanta. Bartkowski wanted to go deep to Johnson. He was covered, tried to get it to Riggs, incomplete. And just a smattering of boos because we have a smattering of folks.
Yes, but they're echoing now, so it sounds like there's a lot more boos.
Dan Henning, talented young coach, went into the season with a lot of youngsters and has paid the price for it.
That fire drill we were talking about at the top of the show. We've been witness to that.
9:27 remaining. It's second down and 10. Ball near the 18-yard line of the Rams. And a flag. And the flag. There we get it. I thought we would. Nolan Cromwell was stride for stride with Alfred Jenkins, just like Johnny Johnson was a moment ago with Bailey, and he could have got a face guard call. There may have been bumping in the corner of the end zone.
Pass interference, defense, number 21 in the end zone. Ball placed on the 1-yard line, first down.
Hold the American.
Jim Tunney sounds like that little voice you hear in the Atlanta terminal.
That's right. You're like this. Go down there. Yes, that was interference.
The first down is at the 1-yard line of the Rams. Interference against Nolan Cromwell. Riggs.
Touchdown.
Did not get the indication of the touchdown. It's inches short.
Wonder if they'll get it in.
Yeah, they will.
Think so?
Yeah. No question.
We'll make this close.
This is going to be it right here. Second down.
And we could have the thrill of the onside kick. And we'll take a look at it over the shoulders of the defensive unit. Second down, goal to go. Yeah. Give you an idea with that shot, the kind of contact that goes on. There's some brutal hitting. Riggs gets in for the touchdown. Atlanta now can start to think about bringing this game close.
They got a level break, haven't you?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. 8:41 left. Lots of time.
Part play-by-play, part psychiatrist.
Just stick with facts, remember, philosophy. Facts and philosophy. I like it.
Mick Luckhurst comes out.
Got a cute little wife, plays good golf. Terry Luckhurst.
And Luckhurst puts it through the uprights. Falcons. Now, 30-13 they trail. We'll be back in a very wet Atlanta. They've got 8:41 remaining in the game. All the Ram sure-handed members of their special team unit are up there anticipating the onside kick from Mick Luckhurst. As Howard pointed out, it's never over till it's over. And the Atlanta Falcons are probably thinking of the onside kick.
Oh, here it comes.
That's your proverbial fire drill. Hadaway, now strike him. Mick Luckhurst crosses him up a little bit. Gets it. Whoa, that thing's got to be handled. That is a live ball, and Henry Ellard almost left it there and then realized, I've got to get this thing out of here. Luckhurst enjoyed it. That ball can be covered, and Ellard almost made the Cardinal rookie error. Well, going to look at it a while here.
I think it hit the end line, but what do I know?
Well, Jim Tunney didn't.
Yeah, well,
Jim Tunney was the best official I ever had on the Battle of the Network Stars. Great performer.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Which is pertinent to a whole lot.
That's right. Now, is this when you start thinking about taking the big guys out and let the other guys run for a while?
Well, Dickerson is out. Dickerson on tonight, 146 yards. And that, of course, will extend his NFL rushing lead considerably.
He did show some nice moves in catching the ball tonight, too.
First down and 10, the Rams at their own 5-yard line. Newman in motion. This is Barry Redden. Barry Redden pays for it as he moves out over the 7-yard line. Dan Henning, the young coach who came from 2 years under Joe Gibbs at Washington. He replaced a very popular coach, not so popular here, but Lehman Bennett in 6 years prior to being replaced had taken the Falcons to the playoffs 3 times. His record was 47-44. And they felt down here they had reached a plateau with Lehman Bennett, so they brought in a young man who, as Howard mentioned earlier, worked under Don Shula, played a little bit under one of the great ones, Ted Gilman, and then, of course, spent the last 2 years with Joe Gibbs. Redden got 3 at 2nd and 7. Redden once again piled up by Mike Pitts first for Atlanta.
There's the great man, Eric Dickerson. The real story tonight. He's not comfortable with contact lenses, much prefers to wear the glasses, and indeed almost assumes the posture based upon the way he performs offensively of a space cadet, because he's really, when you look at the rest of them, in outer space. He wears every pad in the world. John Robinson talked about it. You want to see a wrist pad, you want to see an elbow pad, you just look at Eric.
Well, all right, I'll remember that when I will look at those things.
All right.
3rd down, long yardage. Barry Redden was slow getting up, but he comes back with the call.
Whistles.
And they have expired their 30-second clock. Dan Finish, a rookie from Clemson there defensively for Atlanta.
Well, we're inside 7 minutes.
Ball was not snapped in time, exceeding the 30-second count. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
I think he is the voice of the Atlanta airport.
We're inside 7 minutes. There's still plenty of time, Don.
For what?
I don't know.
Well, there is.
Rookie John Rady has come out of the ball game for Atlanta. He was holding his left arm. Down remains the same following the 5-yard assessment for delay of game. Don Robinson had himself quite a career in 7 years at USC. 82% winning. He won the national championship in 78, was undefeated again in 79. Went to the Rose Bowl 5 times. He won 4 of them. 3rd down and 10 for the Rams at their own 5-yard line. Barry Redden, not one of your better moves in the end zone. And he's dropped for a yard loss, and the Falcons, who eschewed the onside kick, had it pay off for them.
What did they do?
Well, one of those things you laid on me a few years ago. I'll lay it on you.
It basically means they changed their mind.
Well, they eschewed it.
Yes.
They chewed it up and spit it out. All right, Billy.
It's a fun man to watch. John Misko sets up in the end zone. He'll have to kick quickly because he can't take the ordinary depth. Interesting view.
Well, they can block this kick.
Good kick by Misko. Here comes Billy Whiteshoes. And there goes Billy Whiteshoes. Down at the 38-yard line. A 41-yard punt. And so Atlanta will have the ball just about where they would have got it on an onside kick. 5:58 remaining in the game, and they are going to make a run for it. Referee Jim Tunney threw a little adversity at the Falcons. They were holding on their punt return. So now they'll have the football back at their own 47-yard line. Set to go. We have 5:58 remaining. Rams moving into a tie with tonight's win to San Francisco in the NFC West. Bartkowski. He's got a strong arm. Hangs it up for Bailey. And Bailey goes up at the 1-yard line, incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
Well, I got to tell you.
Yeah, huh? Had his arm been a little stronger, that was 6 because he has to stop right there.
He's got a strong arm, and Eric Harris made a good play. Look at that leap right in there.
Well, that wasn't such a terrific leap. I mean, the
I
arm.
didn't say it was terrific.
You said, look at that leap right
At
there.
this point in the game, one looks for a point.
You're looking for leaps. I'm looking for a strong arm.
We have second down and 10. Junior Miller in motion. We haven't heard from him tonight. This is Riggs. Riggs filling in.
Oh, wait.
Bobble ball. The Rams saying they've got it. Had the whistle blown? We'll find out. No, it had not, and the Rams get the turnover. Third turnover of the night now for Atlanta.
Still plenty of time.
5:40. Take a look at the reverse angle. We couldn't see it, and our very heady director, Chester Forty, calls on the reverse angle camera, and that's what we have it for. You'll see it come out right there.
Well, it sure did. Came out on the way down. He's got it covered with his legs. Doesn't count. I want to go home.
So the Rams, what do you say with Vince Ferragamo, who's taken every snap from the center for him this year?
John Robinson is now thinking, I get home in Pasadena, where he lives, at 4 in the morning, and he starts work in 3 hours after that.
Who's the Rams play next week?
Well, I had it all written down here nicely.
Washington Redskins.
They do have the Redskins at home.
Redskins. He better get up early and start preparing for those guys.
Down he goes at the 43-yard line. He'll lose a couple.
I don't know.
Well, Johnny Robinson, I mentioned that Dan Henning had replaced Lehman Bennett. Johnny Robinson replaced Ray Malvasi last year. Malvasi with a 2-7 season and the 9-game strike-shortened season.
Well, knowing John, he may decide to sleep till noon because he's got a sense of where it's at.
Particularly if you're sleeping.
Of course.
That's the way I would look at it.
There was a loss of 3. It'll be second down and 13. Prior to Malvasi, Chuck Knox had won the NFC West 7 straight times from 73 to 78. This is Redden. Redden with a quick move and a lot of acceleration gets inside the 45-yard line. That's close to a first down.
Really scooted through there. Gets a shot now while you protect Dickerson. Maybe show again what a good backup man he is. He's better than that. You know,
he only had a few attempts last year. He was injured most of the season, and he really didn't get a chance to establish. And then when Eric Dickerson came to the Rams, they knew they had the prize pick in the draft, and they were exactly right. So Barry Redden looks like his duty will be, as long as Dickerson stays healthy, pretty much as a backup role. Third and less than a yard. Gilman with a cute little move, and this is Redden. Redden will have the first down. That's good running. That really is solid running. He knew where that first down marker was, lowered the shoulder, and he got it. Has a very low center of gravity, 5'10", 205-pounder. Reggie Doss says, all right, Barry, you got it. And once again, the rain is starting to fall heavily.
It's a hurricane. That's what it is.
You know, considering as much rain we haven't had that many turnovers. A lot of times you see a lot of fumbles, interceptions, and stuff like that.
And that's Ferragamo without an interception tonight.
He's had 17 coming in here. That was really kind of amazing.
Yeah, he didn't have one last week either.
It's good. He's on a roll.
And now it is pouring. First down and 10, the Rams. Inside the 45-yard line of Atlanta. You will watch Redden once again. And down goes Redden. And the flag goes down with him. Interesting, too. Only 5 penalties on the night.
A total of 52 yards. 58 yards. Correction, not bad in this kind of weather.
52 or 58 wouldn't be bad.
Makes it very exciting.
It keeps it moving.
Well, apparently the flag was either came out of one of the officials' pockets because there is no indication of a foul.
It's not the same 100 guys that were in Detroit, is it?
2:40, the clock is moving. It's second down and 8. The Rams inside the 45-yard line of Atlanta. Barry Redden. And they kept him in pursuit at the 40-yard line after a game of a couple.
Dunn made a speech today, Frank. We were both at a luncheon that you eschewed coming to, and he said, I see the same 100 players every week.
They just change uniforms and travel around with us. Well, that's not really true. We've seen everybody except Eric.
Heading down to the 2-minute warning now. Rams comfortably on top. They lead 30-13. Johnny Robinson will get his 7th victory of the season. The Falcons came in tonight averaging 345 yards a game. They have 200 yards of offense tonight. The Rams have been effective both offensively and defensively.
Why didn't you come to our lunch?
That's not a
As I eschewed it.
You eschewed it?
Eschewed it.
Rams looking over a second down and 7. Ball at their own 40-yard line. Rather third down. Correction. Look out for the quick kick. Barry Redden, big open field. He could make it all the way, and he does. So Barry Redden has come in relief of Eric Dickerson, and he's put on quite a show tonight. Now we'll get the little rumble in the end zone.
Well, there's still time.
40-yard touchdown, Barry Redden. I'll say it again. This youngster could be playing for a lot of football teams we watched this year.
And Frank, you know, I think they may play a lot for L.A. next year. I've got a feeling that they will go to that 2-back offense, and that's a couple of horses and a half that you could have in that back.
Well, this kid's a horse and a half.
No, well, then that makes Dickerson a double horse.
No, he's a horse and 3/4.
That's it.
Has there ever been a triple?
Well,
if there is, we've been watching him tonight, Eric Dickerson. Sorry if you weren't with us earlier, but he put on quite a show.
The thing, kidding is kidding. The thing about Redden is he's an all-purpose football player. He's an excellent blocker. Tough cookie.
Chuck Nelson does the impossible.
He missed it.
And that really is hard to do when you get it up in the air. It really is. But Chuck Nelson has come through. We'll be back in a moment. Gerald Riggs is dropped for Atlanta.
come on, Gerald.
They have 1:52 remaining in the game. So the Rams, with a solid victory, will return home to face the Washington Redskins. And the Atlanta Falcons, who have, for all intents and purposes, dropped out of the race in the NFC West, will play the 49ers here in Atlanta.
Well, there's still time.
That's right.
Chuck Nelson, he is not turned into a scintillating evening.
All right, come on. That's what, Gerald. Come on, kid. Come on, kid. You hit him with a left and a right.
Gerald Riggs.
Come on, kid. Come on, kid.
Riggs out to the 33-yard line. It'll be first down, Atlanta. They're running out of time.
Well, Frank, now just a minute. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League, it's prohibited. If you ask them to do that, they may apologize.
First down, it's in Atlanta. Briggs stays out. Andrews, of course, out throughout the entire second half. Lynn Kane is in.
Look out.
Screen, and it goes out to Richard Williams, the rookie from Memphis State. He was running a little early.
It reminds me of the look. There's nobody in the stadium, and it's like high school teams that come to big stadiums and play for the championships. They never fill up the stands. There's nobody here.
It's been pouring here tonight. We had a lot of no-shows, as a matter of fact, because it rained all day, all afternoon. I don't know how many no-shows we did have. We didn't get a report, but this thing got out of control when Eric Dickerson took control. The Rams moving up and down the field almost at will.
I have never seen, though, a stadium this empty at the end of a ball game.
Richard Williams, the rookie from Memphis State.
He'll fumble. Yep, there it is.
Williams, who didn't handle the pass a moment ago, coughs it up. David Lewis crawls all over it. Former Tampa Bay and San Diego Charger. David Lewis. Gary Jeter. It was Jeter with the recovery and Lewis on the hit. Gary Lewis, another one of those USC boys who played for John Robinson.
That's right. 1:27 left. There's still time.
Why she hasn't gone home.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I guess she knew she was going to be on TV.
First down and 10, the Rams. 1:27 remaining. Jeff Kemp, the son of Congressman Jack Kemp, is in the lineup. The great All-Pro for so many years in the AFL with Buffalo.
Frank, even in your famous mud game against the then Chicago Cardinals at the old Polo Grounds in '55, we had more people in the stands.
Well, that is reaching back.
What?
That is reaching back.
That is reaching back. Here he goes.
Harry Redden again.
I tell you.
And he almost popped another one.
Still time.
Closing seconds. Jeff Kemp out of Dartmouth. He has taken the first snap.
Hey, I think Barry's over 100, Frank.
Quarterback.
There he is.
Redden joins
over 100.
Eric Dickerson at, I was getting to it, at over 100 yards.
Don't let Howard get in your way. Just keep on. You hear? Just keep on going.
Bill Russell said, just straight ahead. Don't forget it, Frank.
That's
Straight
right.
ahead.
Straight ahead. It's Ferragamo on the night. A good night. 2 games now without an interception. 15 and 22 on the night, 173 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Barry Redden over the left side. And at least Atlanta is having the decency not to use their timeouts. So it's going to be a long year for the Falcons and for the Rams. A lot of promise. They've got some youngsters. They've got some problems in their secondary. But they are very much alive. They move into a tie with the NFC San Francisco 49ers, the NFC West San Francisco 49ers. And John Robinson congratulating his players, particularly number 23. That's Henry Williams. Eric Harris performed well tonight in that secondary. And the Rams will go home to play Washington. We'll be back. And the final score from Atlanta, the Rams had defeated the Falcons 36-13. Coming up on Nightline, the Greyhound bus strike, with the company hiring new workers as the union's power weakening. The guests will include the president of Greyhound and a union official who is also a Greyhound driver. That's tonight on Nightline, right after your late local news. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the official airline of the 1984 LA Olympic Games and the proud sponsor of the United States Olympic team. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around